I'm going to show you a little bit about the vanilla collection that we've been generating since 2016. So the vanilla collection at the University of Florida was established in 2016. And the reason is that a number of our growers are looking for the next best crop to keep them profitable. So vanilla year over year has a high value, and we have a favorable environment in southern Florida. We've been growing vanilla in southern Florida since at least 1910 for the commercial species. Of course, our native species have been here much longer than that. Now, the commercial species has never been grown commercially in southern Florida because there's a number of key traits we have to make sure that we sort out first. Number one, we need to know how to recommend to growers how to grow the crop so that they're efficient, that they're not wasting money or damaging the environment. We also need to make sure we're growing the right type of plant. And so vanilla, there are a number of semi-sterile hybrids out there, and there are species that are not approved for food use. And so we use the collection to identify the best growing types that are of the right species so that growers get off to the right start. The University of Florida vanilla collection includes almost 300 accessions from about 30 species. So not all of those are commercially viable, but we use those plants to help us understand traits like disease resistance and the genetics of disease resistance, as well as the genetics behind bean size, aroma, or how well plants grow in southern Florida. So here we have something that's a little more close to what you'd see in commercial production. So we have a simple post and wire trellis here, and plants spaced about 1 meter apart. This particular accession is called Painter. This is the first type that we're recommending for production in South Florida. These plants have been in the ground for just about 6 months, so they take off, they grow very well, and this is a commercial vanilla planifolia type that was found here in Florida and that grows really well in Florida. As we walk down here, we have another type of vanilla planifolia. This one came from around the Indian Ocean, a tree around there. And this type has been in the ground for over a year. Some of the plants are doing well, but they're obviously still growing. We're interested in how different plants will perform in a type of commercial setting. So this gives us more plants that we can use for our statistical analyses. Our growers are also interested in Vanilla tahitensis. So this was acquired from South America. We verified this at the DNA level so that we know that this is actually Vanilla tahitensis. Again, these have been in the ground for less than a year. They're growing really well, and we're excited to see what type of beans they'll have in the next couple of years. These plants have been in the ground for a couple of years. We ordered these from a tissue propagator here in Florida and found out that the mother plants actually came with Cymbidium mosaic virus. Even with the virus, we can see that the plants are still able to set fruit. And so here are the beans. They're not the largest beans, but they are being somewhat productive. Of course, we think that without the virus, that the beans would be larger, the plants would grow faster because they'd have more energy. It isn't being wasted on the virus itself. This is Vanilla pompona. It's not commercially approved for food use, though it is consumed in parts of Central and South America. This species grows really well in Florida. It's hardy, it's vigorous, and the same size vine for Vanilla pompona will produce 1 year sooner than Vanilla planifolia. If you look in here, you can see the size of the beans. Pollination, if it's pollinated well, these beans are much larger than Vanilla planifolia. They're thicker. You can tell the species apart generally by the lighter green color of the species. That's somewhat diagnostic, as well as the thicker leaves and the thicker